وكما قال أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب كرم الله وجهه يا أشبه الرجال ولا رجال, O you who resemble men but are not men, بل هم من الإنس المذكورة في قول الله تعالى وكذلك جعلنا لكل نبي عدوا شياطين الإنس والجن يوحي بعضهم إلى بعض زخرف القول غرورا. And like that we have made for every prophet an enemy of the shayateen al-ins, the demons from the humans and from the immaterial demons. They inspire one another with ornamented words, delusional. وما أرى البحتري, he's one of the poets. Al-Buhtari was one of the early poets of the early Islamic era. So he says, إذا اعتبر جل الناس بالخلق لا بالخلق مبعدا في قوله. And I don't consider al-Buhtari, if we consider human beings from their character rather from their createdness, from their form, I don't think that he's far-fetched when he said لم يبق من جل هذا الناس بقية ينالها الوهم إلا هذه الصور. There's nothing remains from humanity except these remnants that you see the forms, but it's just like it's imaginary, it's not real. And then he says ولا من يقول فجلهم إذا فكرت فيهم حمير أو كلاب أو ذئاب. The majority of people, if you really think about it, they're like donkeys, dogs, and wolves. It's a very negative view. But there's a reason why, which you will get to if you go through this book, why he's really trying to wake people up. Because when you look out there and see what people are doing, it's quite shocking. Because most people are just in their egocentric worlds, concerned about themselves and not about others. And then they end up, when the time comes, they're willing to go to war and kill other people. They're willing to do horrible things. It's amazing. So, وَلَا تَحْسِبَنَّ هَذِهِ الْأَبْيَاتَ أَقْوَالًا. Don't think that these lines of poetry are just poetical statements, وَإِطْلَاقَاتٍ مَجَازِيَّةٍ, or figurative expressions, articulations. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى كَذَلِكَ يَقُولُ. It's God Himself that says, أم تحسب أن أكثرهم يسمعون أو يعقلون إن هم إلا كالأنعام بل هم أضل سبيلا. Do not think that the majority of them hear or use their intellects. Rather, they're like livestock. They're even more astray. The reason they say more astray, Allah says more astray, is because one of the hallmarks of an animal is it's first of all, it's always vigilant. Like if you think about animals, they're always vigilant. Even the cows, when they're just eating, if somebody comes, they get up immediately. And if they think there's any danger, they run. You'll see them run away. If they see a fire, they go the opposite direction. If they see a tornado, the animals go the opposite. If people see tornadoes, they get their cameras out and they chase them in their car. Right? I mean, this is human nature. Is that the majority of people, they don't even look after their own welfare. So that's what he's saying. Is that, do you think these people actually hear and think? They're just going through the motions. وَقَدْ أَنْبَأْتُ فِي هَذِهِ رِسَالَةً عَنْ جُمْلَةِ الْمَوْجُودَاتِ. I have told in this epistle about the summation of existent things. وَمَكَانَ الْإِنسَانِ مِنْهَا, and the place of the human being in the midst of these created things. وَمَبْدَئِهَا وَمَنْشَئِهَا, where they began, how they were formed, and how they end. وَمَا جُعِلَ لَهُ مِنَ السَّعَادَتَيْنِ فِي الدَّارَيْنِ بِاكْتِسَابِ الْإِنسَانِيَّةِ وَكَيْفِيَّةِ التَّطَرُّقِ إِلَيْهَا. And what was given of the two felicities, the two joys, the two states of happiness, فِي الدَّارَيْنِ, in both abodes, by acquiring one's humanity, that's how you get the sa'ada. And then I show you how to do it. وَكَيْفِيَّةَ التَّطَرُّقِ إِلَيْهَا. كَيْفَ تَتَطَرَّقْ, how do you move in degrees towards this thing? So that's what this book is going to do. He's going to show you, first of all, what you are. So this is an explanation of what the human being is. But then he's going to show you what you should be, what Allah expects you to be, and then how to get that. وابتدأت بالتنبيه على وجوب معرفة الإنسان ذاته. And I begin by reminding of the obligation of a human being to know him or herself. فمن علم أن شيئا وهو مما يجب أن يعلم فإنه وإن لم يعلمه فقد حصل له بذلك علم. So to know أن شيئا ما هو مما يجب أن يعلم, to know that you should know something and that you don't know it is a type of knowledge. Like to know that you should know something and yet you don't know it is a type of knowledge. فمن العلم أن تعلم أنك لا تعلم, because amongst the knowledge is knowing that you don't know. وعلم الإنسان بجهله أحد العلمين. And this is why Imam Malik radiallahu anhu said, لا أدري نصف العلم. To say I don't know is half of knowledge. And that's why when the great Zuhri was in the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ, and he saw a man do taslimatain. It's in the Aridat al-Ahwadi. He did a taslimatain because Aisha radiallahu anha said, كانت تسليمة رسول الله تسليمة واحدة, that he would do his salam like in the janazah prayer. Assalamu alaikum, just one. This is a khilaf, the madhab's differ on this. In any case, the point being, when Zuhri saw this man doing two, which was not the actions of the people of Medina, he said, where did you get that, the second taslima? And he said, عن فلان عن فلان عن ابن مسعود أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يسلم تسليمتين. He said, I don't know that hadith. And the man said to him, he was from Iraq. He said, أحط بحديث رسول الله كله? Did you know all the hadiths of the Prophet? He said, no. He said, ثلثي, 2/3? He said, no. He said, نصف? He said, نعم. He said, half? He said, yes. He said, حطه في النصف اللي لا تعرف. Put it in the half you don't know. Right? Well, ضحك الزهري. It showed he had a good sense of humor. He laughed at that. The point being is that to say I don't know is important. And that's why it's very arrogant. The modern muhaqqiqun, they always say, لا أصل له. They should say, لا معثر عليه. I couldn't find it, or ما ورد, or ما وجدته في. The earlier ones, they usually say something like that. If you look at their tahqiq, they don't use that absolute thing. Unless it's clearly fabricated, then it is. But there's a lot of hadith that were lost. Then he says, وقال ابن عباس من لم يجد مس نقص الجهل في عقله وذل المعصية في قلبه ولم يستبن موضع الخلة في لسانه عند كلال حده عن حد خصمه فليس ممن ينزع عن دنية ولا يرغب عن حال معجزة ولا يكترث لفصل ما بين حجة وشبهة. Ibn Abbas رضي الله عنه, very important Sahabi رضي الله عنه, he said, whoever does not find some sense of the deficiency of his ignorance in his intellect and the humiliation of his disobedience in his heart, and does not see the place of need in his tongue when it grows tired when you're debating with somebody and it loses its ability to be precise. This type of person will never be able to free himself from low things. And he will not, and he won't rise above his incapacitated state. And nor will he be concerned about discerning between clarity and confusion, between proofs and obfuscations. It's very, very interesting. So khalla is need. So for people studying Arabic here, khulla, this is one of the muthallathat. So the muthallathat, there's a famous text by Imam Qutrab, which is the muthallathat. And it's really important because you can really make mistakes in Arabic. So khalla is need. Khulla is friendship. And khilla is the food between your teeth that you khalliluhu when you do takhlil. There's other meanings as well, but those are the dominant ones. وبقدر معرفة منفعة الشيء يحرص الإنسان على طلبه. to the degree with which somebody knows the benefit of a thing, he will be covetous in seeking it. وَيَصْبِرُ عَلَى تَحَمَّلِ الْمَشَقَّةِ فِي تَحْصِيلِهِ. And he will be patient about bearing the hardships in its acquisition. وَلِذَلِكَ قَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى فِي صِفَةِ مَنْ جَهِلَ نَفْعَ مَطْلُوبِهِ وَكَيْفَ تَصْبِرُ عَلَى مَا لَمْ تُحِيطْ بِهِ خُبْرًا. So this is Musa wal Khidr. So when Musa, somebody asked him a question about, was there anybody more learned? And he didn't know that there was, because he was the prophet of the time. And so Allah directed him to this man who was given ilm ladunni, a type of knowledge that is, there's a khilaf about it, what type of knowledge it is. But in any case, it just says immediate knowledge. It's a type of direct knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so when he asked, he said to Al-Khadr, هل أتبعك على أن تعلمني مما علمت رشدا? You know, will you allow me to follow you to learn something of what you have been taught of knowledge? And the Ahl al-Tafsir point out that he asked with great adab by saying ulimta and used the passive verb, what you have been given of knowledge, right? Not what you know, what you have been given of knowledge. And so he says, when he says to him, you know, to ask that, قَالَ إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعِ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا. You won't be able to be patient with me. So then they go through their journey and he keeps asking questions and he finally tells him in the end, هَذَا فِرَاقُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنِكَ. This isn't working out. And then he gives him the ta'wil of everything. And what's interesting, when he gives him the ta'wil, he tells him, ذَلِكَ تَأْوِيلُ مَا لَمْ تَسْتِعْ. And he doesn't say تَسْتَطِعْ. So in the first one he says, لَن تَسْتَطِعْ. You will not be able to bear with me. So as you know, زِيَادَةَ الْمَبْنَى تَدُلُّ عَلَى زِيَادَةَ الْمَعْنَى. You have more letters in the word, there's some more complexity in the meaning. So once he learns, he gives them the tasdi'. He removes the ta and gives them the tasdi', because now he understands. Musa.